What's up, guys? It's HerpTime, and obviously a lot of things have changed since my last YouTube video. We got a lot of lizards now. These are mainly anoles. Actually, this whole room is anoles genus. So I'm going to show how I set them up in a simple way that is easy for breeding a pair of them. So if you get an anole from me, or from anyone for that matter, you can set one up this way, you can set up a pair this way, or you can set up a male with a few females this way. For 90% of anoles, you just do what I'm doing. You just change the size of the enclosure based on the lizards. If they're babies, something smaller. If they're Cuban Knights, then obviously something like that back there. Now this is an 18-18-24 Zoom Ed. Exoterra works too. Anything really works. And we're just going to set it up. So what I use as a substrate is this orchid moss. I use this for my bronia. I use this for the anoles. This is just because it's easy to change. It holds humidity really well. It doesn't mold really easily, and it lasts a while. And when I explain later how I collect eggs, this makes it way easier to collect eggs. Of course, you can use bark, you can use eco-earth, you can use really anything you want for the substrate, especially if you're not breeding, then it really doesn't matter. They don't care. They just like something that will hold humidity, because most of these lizards, 90% of anoles, will do more than well. They'll thrive in this enclosure. So what we're going to do, I get this from Lowe's. It's like, I don't know, $5 for this whole thing. You know what? Not rocket science. Let's walk right here. We're going to try to not cut this video because I'm a lazy guy when it comes to my own content. So one whole bag usually fills up at 18, just an inch about. Break it up, and boom, we're good. Now, lighting, I should have gone over that first. They need UVB. So all of these have T5 UV lights. This is a T8 UV light. Either one work. Now, the heat, you're going to want an ambient between 75 and 80 degrees. This room, I keep at 80 degrees. Of course, you probably don't want to keep your bedroom or your living room or wherever you're keeping your anole at 80 degrees. Obviously, this is for breeding, and the whole room is built that way. So that's why this room's 80 degrees, and the UV gives off enough heat that there's a hot spot around 90 to 95 at the top. Now, you're not going to be able to achieve that in your average bedroom, wherever you're setting this up. So that's when heat bulbs come in. Now, just depending on how cold your room is that it is in, you will change the wattage of your heat bulbs, whether it's a 25 watt heat bulb, 50 watt heat bulb, a 75 watt heat bulb, wherever it is. You're going to want to make sure that where you set up the basking spot, they can access, but they can also access somewhere that's 80-ish degrees on the low end, and obviously a night drop to 75, 70. Never below 70. 75 is ideal for a night drop. Now, let's start setting up the enclosure. We got our substrate in there. I noticed that anoles like something as a background. Now, you can use anything. These enclosures over here have Zoom Ed cork backgrounds. And this is just wood that I collect and sell. This is fir, and it works really well. So, they like to climb on stuff. They can actually hold on to glass. They not only have claws, but they have sticky pads like a gecko. So they can do both, but it makes it easier when they have both options. So we give them a little background, and plants are next. You want some type of foliage because they are an arboreal species, most of them, and they do like to use plants to hide. So in this, we'll be putting 2 pothos plants. I prefer live plants, just the look of them. Makes everything a little prettier. And pothos is a great option because just keep it moist and it should stay alive. So, onto the branches. Assuming you have a basking spot near the top, right there, you put your basking spot, say, or you put it in the back. Just make sure there's a branch where your basking spot is. Okay, so they can get there and hang out on the basking spot. If you can get a branch to stay, it would be phenomenal. Let's try a different one. Now, of course, you can use any type of branch. You can use manzanita, you can use cork tubes, you can use anything. This is also wood that I collect and sell. These are Douglas fir roots, and I really like how they look. Really gnarly look, really naturalistic. And we're just going to see until it stays. Our plant fell a little, suffered a little, but hey, no pain, no gain. We'll obviously fix that. However you want to set up your enclosure. Now this is really sloppy, really quick. Obviously you saw I did this in, how long is the video right now? 6 minutes. I did this in 6 minutes. So this is our anole enclosure. Very simple, very easy. This is how I keep obviously all of these. You know what? I'll just flip it around and show you exactly how I'm keeping these lizards. Let's see here. Very simple setups. And this is the best way to produce them. They enjoy it, they like it. Now, let's see if I can even set this back up how I had it. Alright, now, the way I breed them is using the pothos pot. They lay their eggs in the pothos. Every month or every 2 weeks, ideally, you would go through the pothos and dig through the soil and find the eggs and then incubate them separately. You can incubate a lot of them in the enclosure and let the babies hatch. A lot of the adults won't harm the babies, but sometimes crickets get to them and sometimes adults do harm the babies. So I don't take the risk. I collect eggs and I incubate them separately. That's why some of these enclosures look kind of bad, because the pothos just got dug up a few days ago. Pothos are so resilient. You can dig them up, destroy their roots, put them back, and in a week they'll be back to normal. So they still have some time to get back, especially the ones with longer vines that have been overturned. But that's basically what we're doing. And as you can see, this is our little enclosure. This is perfect for a pair or trio of anoles. Anything that isn't as large as a Cuban anole, a vermiculatus, I don't know, Farius, those are a little larger and might benefit from more space, which really they need more vertical space than wide space, so you can do that as well. Yeah, any questions, DM me on Instagram. That's the best place to message me, or armin@herptime.com. I will gladly message your questions about anoles. Next video, we're going to make a really cool enclosure, a lot more in depth than this, with background and stuff. This is just if you want an easy tutorial on how to build an enclosure for anoles. This is it.